Hey everybody, it's RRPG here. It's April 3rd, 2018, and welcome to RRPG Side-Quests. Man, it just seems like all the news that's recently been coming to me or what I've been finding seems to be related to Dragon Quest somehow. I mean, I talked about Dragon Quest XI last week, and I already talked about Dragon Quest Builders 2 yesterday in yesterday's side quest video. And now I have another piece of news to talk about that's Dragon Quest related. If any of you are in Tokyo or, going to currently on vacation there, or if you're going to school there or anything like that, or if you're teaching English or anything like that over there, and if you go to a place called the VR Zone Shinjuku in the Shinjuku district, and if you are a big avid fan of Dragon Quest, well, you're going to be very surprised about this, because looks like Square Enix and Bandai Namco Games are teaming up to bring a VR experience of Dragon Quest to you if you go to the VR Zone Shinjuku in the Shinjuku district. And they bring this game, and it's called Dragon Quest VR. And yeah, as I said, Square Enix and Bandai Namco Amusement are actually teaming up for this special event, so you won't be able to see this on consoles or anything like that, because they actually did show a trailer where it shows the HTC Vive that is sitting on a rock, along with the Sword of Erdrick or Sword of Lodo just being sat next to the rock or anything, or whatever it's supposed to be. I think that's supposed to be the Sword of Lodo, but here's a screenshot of what it looks like. So yeah, you can get a good idea that you can actually play this when you are at the VR Zone Shinjuku, but it's not something that you could play on the PlayStation 4 VR or even on PC, because it's totally a recreational amusement type of thing. And I did pick up the news from Siliconera, so let's go ahead and take a look at it. Bandai Namco Amusement announced that the next video game theme attraction headed to VR Zone Shinjuku, I think it's supposed to be VR Zone Shinjuku, not VR Zones Shinjuku, is Dragon Quest VR on April 27th, and it will let you see what the world of Dragon Quest is like in VR. And they even showed a video featuring how they are working with the VR for this game. But of course, it's behind-the-scenes stuff, and we don't see any actual gameplay footage. But we actually did get a message from Yuji Horii, who expressed his excitement about this, as it was something that he was wanting to do for 30 years, like bring the whole world of Dragon Quest III to life with, people should see it within their, with their own eyes. And anyway, it says that the video features series creator Yuji Horii, as I mentioned, who starts out by saying it's almost like a dream come true, and how he wishes he could tell himself from 30 years ago that we'll have something like this. The facility will have you team up with other players equipped with a sword and shield or staves as a warrior, and I think like either a knight or a thief, and a priest, as well as a mage, to make your way to Charlock Castle in order to fight Zoma, the chief antagonist of Dragon Quest III. Like I said, the VR experience is based on Dragon Quest III, so if you really like Dragon Quest III, which I personally really enjoy, I think it's the best of the Lodo trilogy or the Erdrick trilogy, then yeah, you're definitely going to be really excited about that. The VR game will let you use your sword to cut down monsters and use iconic spells such as Freeze or Frizz to experience Dragon Quest battles in VR. Registration starts on April 20th, and there will be an opening event that will allow fans to check it out earlier on April 25th. Dragon Quest VR will officially kick off on April 27th at VR Zone Shinjuku. So yeah, that's actually pretty interesting how they're, bringing the experience of Dragon Quest to a recreational type of amusement park like that. And I honestly find that to be the best choice, or the best place to go to experience that kind of thing. Experience virtual reality at recreational events and that kind of stuff. Because having it at home, I really don't think a lot of people are still really prone to just playing VR games at home, because VR just still has not become a very big mainstream thing. I mean, I know that Sony is really big on the whole VR fad with PlayStation VR on the PS4, but not everybody has it, and not a lot of people are very receptive to, play PlayStation VR. So they would just rather that they just play a traditional game, and me personally included. But if they have that as like a tech demo on PlayStation VR, on PS4, as well as through Steam with HTC Vive, then I could see that, possibly working. But for making a whole game experience out of that, then yeah, not a lot of people are going to be very happy about that. I mean, Square Enix even tried to do this with Final Fantasy 15. I mean, they had the whole Final Fantasy 15 VR experience before they changed it to Final Fantasy 15 Monsters in the Deep, where it was just the whole fishing minigame, you know, because Noctis really likes fishing, so that's why they made a whole VR experience based on that aspect alone, and not just like, you know, playing the game on its own. For it being at an amusement park, amusement recreational facility or an amusement park, like what Square Enix and Bandai Namco Amusement are doing at VR Zone Shinjuku for Dragon Quest VR, then yeah, I'd say that's definitely more acceptable. Just not something you should play at home, because you don't want people to get headaches and that kind of stuff. And, I mean, if you like the whole VR thing, I'm not against you for that, but for me personally, just playing an RPG is just, in virtual reality, no thank you. I mean, of course, Bethesda tried this with Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, and I'm like, I mean, the novelty, it's cool on paper, but for playing through a whole game with that VR, it's just like, nah, just keep it away. But as an amusement, like I said, I definitely find that to be more admirable than having to bring the experience at home. But anyway, if you like Dragon Quest, and if you really do like VR, and if you're in Japan and you're close to the Shinjuku district where they have VR Zone Shinjuku, then definitely go there, because I think it's one attraction that you're definitely going to want to check out. And, you know, personally, if I was in Japan right at this moment, I would definitely like to come down there. But since I'm here in America, I don't have the funds with me to go to Japan, then unfortunately I just can't really do that at this moment. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the comment from the last video, the one that I chose that was based on Dragon Quest Builders 2. And this comes from YouTube user Curtis Scheidler, or Scheidler, or however he pronounced his name. But anyway, this is what his comment said. Anyone else find it weird that the character in Dragon Quest Builders resembles the hero in Dragon Quest II more than the hero in the first Dragon Quest? And, you know, when I saw this comment, I was actually, you know, kind of curious myself too. And when I took a look at the characters from Dragon Quest Builders 1, you know, the male and female protagonists, as well as the main character from Dragon Quest II being the descendant of Erdrick, just like the first game's hero was the descendant of Erdrick, or Lodo, whichever one you prefer to go by. But yeah, it's just looking at that character in the first Dragon Quest Builders being very similar to Dragon Quest II, I definitely see where they're coming from, because, you know, when you take a look at the main hero in Dragon Quest I, he's wearing all knight's armor. Whereas if you take a look at the hero in Dragon Quest II, he looks like more of a swordsman, as he has like a hood, and he's like wearing a coat and wearing pants, and you don't really see him wear anything that resembles that of a knight. So I think Square Enix or whoever was working on this game may have had an identity crisis with the character, but, you know, I don't think they intentionally meant to do that on purpose. But if you wanted to go by that belief, you can, but otherwise, I'd just say it really doesn't really make a difference, because if you just take a look at Dragon Quest Builders for what it is, with how you're trying to rebuild the world or rebuild the land of Alefgard in that game, and seeing as how you're playing the characters in Dragon Quest Builders 2, and you're trying to rebuild the land within that world in the same game, then yeah, it really doesn't, you know, it really shouldn't be one of those things that you should question about their designs, whether or not, if they're adequate or not. And for me personally, I really think that the designs for the characters of both Dragon Quest Builders 1 and Dragon Quest Builders 2, they're appropriately themed. Because if you take a look at the ones in Dragon Quest Builders 2, they look like they are gold miners, or some people who would like to go mining in, you know, mines to strike gold and all that. I mean, it's a very popular thing back then, so I guess it really does fit the theme with that particular aspect, if they want to try to go for the whole building aesthetic. Because, you know, Dragon Quest and Minecraft, you never thought they would go hand in hand together, right? Anyway, guys, that's all with my video for today about Dragon Quest VR in this episode of RRPG Side-Quests. If you like what you see, then be sure to rate this video, as well as leaving your feedback down in the comments, and whatever feedback, or whoever leaves their feedback or their question in the comments for this video, then I'll feature it in the next video, as well as featuring your channel in the description. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button underneath this video, as well as hitting that bell button that's right next to the subscribe button, so that way you'll stay up to date on when I will have a new video that will be posted to you all, and that way when you also hit that subscribe button, that means that more content will be coming to you in the future that you guys are not going to find anywhere else. So until next time, guys, this is RRPG signing off by saying Godspeed and game on, gamers. Peace out!